Yeah, is it goofy? Good. You're on. Okay. Hi, this is Nicole with Sunday's Mindful Connection Inspiration. No, actually. Hi, this is Nicole with Mindful Connections Sunday Inspiration. So last week I said goodbye to you as I was on my way to a writer-teacher training retreat. I suggested that you might join me in finding a person or a being through whom you could see the world, through whose eyes you could see the world. I was telling you that I was going to spend a few days with a few women, and it turns out there were actually 9 women. And I wanted to really be mindfully connected with them during this time together, because this is a really important step for me to take this training. And I figured, why not see the world through their eyes? The more I listen, the more present I can be with them to see and understand where they're coming from. I figured the better we connect, because that's what the animals have taught me, and that's what the Mindful Connection Wheel can teach you. So what was interesting is I got there and I learned a lot by listening. I learned a lot by understanding. I learned a lot by hearing them talk. I learned by hearing what they wrote about, because we did a lot of writing exercises. And I learned actually one more thing that I didn't expect. I really learned to see myself through their eyes, because through their reflections, I actually really got to see a new side of myself. That was really wonderful to see. It just showed me what I could provide for them during our time together, and maybe also into the future now, because, you know, we became pretty close. So that was great. And I'm curious what your experience was. If you have not tried to check in and see how you could see through the other side, I actually want to leave you this week with an exercise that I gave this group of women one night when it was my time to teach. And what I suggested to them, it's like, you know, it's one thing to see things through the eyes of another human being, because you can even ask them questions, and you can say, like, so, honey, why do you look at it like this? Or what do you think of something? What do you think about this? Or what are your feelings around that? And that's a way certainly to see through someone's eyes. But I challenge these women by picking an object or a being that is nonverbal. So somebody actually picked the ocean, another person picked a dog, another person picked a bookshelf in a bookstore, because this woman really loves books. And I took them through a guided visualization to put themselves into that object of their desire, so to speak. And it should be something that, you know, would really speak to your heart. You know, if you love the ocean, then that's great. Or if you love the mountains, or if you love a particular book, you know, that would be the type of object you want to look at and tune into and see the world through. And then see what they tell you. See, what can you learn from a tree? What can you learn from your cat? What can you learn from the ocean? What do they tell you? And I suggest you sit down, close your eyes, and really take a deep breath. One for yourself, and then you take another deep breath for your mind, because our mind is always busy talking, but maybe through breath you can calm it down. Take another breath for your body. Allow your body to really sink into the present moment. And then take another breath for your spirit, for your intuition, the connection that actually can help you travel into this other being. And then get quiet and listen and see if anything shows up. And if you can't hear, see, feel, or sense anything, stay quiet for another moment and then ask a question, like, is there anything you want me to know? Is there anything I can do that would make you feel better? And you might be surprised what you hear. I had a conversation with a tree during that night, and just to give you a quick example, the tree shared with me the things he liked about where he was, and, you know, the people that would come around and whatnot. And at one point I noticed there was a second tree next to that tree, and it was actually dark in the night, but I could see the 2 trunks together, and I went, oh, I forgot you actually have a neighbor. What about this one? And my tree said, don't worry about it. And I was like, well, that's weird. And it was very non-judgmental. There was no emotion. It was just like, don't worry about it. I said, all right. And I didn't, and we continued to talk. And the next morning, I woke up and I walked outside and I realized that other tree didn't have any leaves. It was actually dead. And it only stood upright because they were connected through a wire. They were kind of tethered together. And at that moment, I knew my conversation was true and real and right. Because even I sometimes wonder, did this tree really just convey this message to me? But when I realized I really don't need to worry about that tree because it had already passed, so to speak, I was like, gotcha. So you might be surprised, but you will find out. I invite you to come to the blog and write about anything you've learned this week if you already tried this exercise. And if you haven't and you're doing it now, let me know how it goes. It's so amazing to hear what kind of conversations we can have with nonverbal objects or beings. So have a great week. Can't wait to hear what's going to happen to you and your intuition. All right, see you next week.